Check one, two. Check one, two.
Oh, thank you for signing up. Excellent.
Make it cordial.
Okay. No.
Joe Sorrell.
Oh, I know the name. No. I think I'm going to talk about something.
Now I'm working.
So this is a meeting. Are you planning on speaking? You're welcome to talk during business of the board. You may better get up first. No. They just sign in, and then whoever wants to come up can come up. Yes, you may listen to the front. I'm wondering if I'm going to need a second sheet.
Flip it over.
Thank you. All right, excellent.
Problem solving.
All right, excellent. Mark?
Can you take the money, please?
Well, it's for a request.
Good evening, everyone. Can I ask you all to please stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's town board meeting. It is Tuesday, January 14th, 2020. First thing on our agenda this evening is bids and awards. This is authorization to award Kensico Phase 9 Water Main Project to Castabella Contracting of New York. When was that awarded? Just recently?
We're awarding it tonight.
I mean, when did the bids come in?
The bid was on December 23rd.
Okay. This is a 24-inch water main project. It is to create another water supply from our water tanks into our main water system. Right now, we have a 14-inch water main that is very old, and heaven forbid that fails. So this will create a new supply and will allow us to eventually redo that 14-inch water main. Let me just get through the details. That mine's not
Do you want mine?
okay. Authorization to request to award Kensico Phase 9 Water Main Project to Castabella Contracting, New York, for a total of $2,396,675. This is a project that we had bonded, I think, almost 2 years ago. It includes installation of 2,800 feet of 24-inch ductile iron water mains, 2 hydrants, several new valves, and other related work to the Kensico Water District. Although this bid was considerably less than the second lowest bidder and under the engineer's estimate of $3.3 million, the contractor has acknowledged their ability to complete the project at the bid price submitted, adequate references for their work. The contractor is also 100% MWDBE business enterprise. So this resolution 32-20 will award this project to Casabella Contracting.
Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
I'll second that, Mr. Supervisor.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is moving on to the supervisor's report. Purchase order 162-1918. This is for the purchase of, you're going to give me a hard time here tonight, I guess. These are two signboards for the Kensico Phase 9 Water Main Project. Is included in the bonding. Total cost for the two signs. These are solar signs with battery backup. Total cost for the signs is $34,203.48. We have one that's not working anymore, but so.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Schulman, second by Ms. Zano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next order is purchase order 13120-01, CRP Refuse Renewal Contract for 2020. The contract we have at CRP Sanitation is renewable on a yearly basis. I believe we have 2 or 3 years left on the original contract. So this will renew their contract for 2020.
Move for approval.
Motion by Ms. Zano,
Second.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is renewal of our ALS contract with WEMS. This is EMT services that we provide to assist in our ambulance, volunteer ambulances throughout Mount Pleasant. Let me just give you details on this. This covers Valhalla, Pleasantville, Mount Pleasant West, Hawthorne, and Sleepy Hollow. The total cost for this contract is $1,057,558. We've been very happy with the services provided by WEMS. Just an excellent group. So the board has reviewed this contract, and I need a motion to approve it.
Move for approval?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Schulman. Second.
Danielle.
Second.
Second by Ms. Zano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to consider amendment to the lease with Homeland Towers LLC. This is a land use review and secret determination for cell tower facility at Botanical River Road. Our town attorney, do you have any details you want to fill us in on this?
Sure, this will be a resolution approving the Second Amendment to the lease agreement, approving the land use review, and adopting the secret negative declaration would be your motion.
Move for approval, please.
Second?
Motion by Ms. Smalley, second by Mr. Schulman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization to obtain bids for town hall cleaning services. We have Apple Services. They've been very good. If you notice, they keep the town hall very clean. But we have to put it out for bid every year, so we will.
I have bid opening of January 24th.
24. Okay, the authorization to obtain bids on January 24th, 2020.
Move for approval.
Motion by Ms. Zano,
Second.
second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. It's not even coming. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Authorization to hire part-time communications director effective January 1st, 2020. We've had discussions on this. Nick DiPaolo, who has handled a lot of our communications in the past, we had worked into the budget on a part-time basis to have Nick DiPaolo work with our office, with Amanda, my assistant, to help us get all the information out that we possibly can to our residents. This is according to the 2020 budget. I need a motion to approve that.
I'd like to make a motion for approval for the communications director.
Motion by Mr.
Second.
Saliano. Second by Mr. Shulman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Authorization to approve salary for a second deputy town attorney, Kevin Highland. Kevin Highland right now is, we approved Kevin as a second deputy at our organizational meeting. Kevin is also with our IDA. And our town attorney, would you like to explain that setup?
Yeah, Mr. Holland will continue as the executive director of the IDA. He'll also be the second deputy town attorney, handling a number of matters for the town. The salary is split 2/3 IDA and about 1/3 for the town. And it's a necessary addition to the town.
Overall, it turns out to be a net savings for the town.
Yeah, I believe in the end it will be.
Yes. Okay, the motion to approve the second deputy's salary.
Move for approval?
Motion by Ms. Zano,
Second.
second by Mr. Shulman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Authorization for a recreation employee to carry over one vacation leave credit by January 31st, 2020. This was a late request. From recreations, Angela Portanova to carry over one vacation day. We generally do this in the reorganization meeting, but this didn't make it to that. So this will approve Angela to carry over one vacation day into January.
Move for approval, please?
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second?
second by Ms. Zano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is authorization for Judge Ponzini to attend the 2020 Association of Towns Training School and Annual Meeting, February 16th through 19th, 2020. Each year, the Association of Towns puts on a training session for 3 days. It's open to pretty much town board members, judges, receivers, town clerks. So anybody who wishes to attend and brush up on different things is welcome to do so. This resolution will approve Pernell Robert Ponzini to attend the 2020 annual meeting.
Move for approval.
Motion by Mr. Shulman,
Second?
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I have the receiver of taxes report. Our investment report, the current rate of interest is 2%. So much for technology here. Yeah. Moving on, as we all know, we've been dealing with the situation with Pat Henry's Field since probably August. We have tried, my assistant Amanda Giusilli has worked very hard to make sure the information gets out there to everyone on both Little League and the residents in the area. I hope you've all been satisfied with all the information that's been shared with you all. We are still at a stage right now where we're collecting additional information. And Darius, did you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I could just say, we sent out a letter on January 10th to the Little League with some questions that I had, and they were responded to on, I believe, Sunday. We received a response. That's been starting to be reviewed by myself, Recreation, Town Board, etc. We did receive a letter from neighbors. I believe we received that today, which is along with a few pages included in it, including a petition, so that's being digested also. There's a few more things we need to look at from a legal perspective before anything happens. And I believe the county is considering this, or reviewing this on Thursday. There's a meeting of the Recreation Department of the county. As you know, this is a county field that is owned by them, which we lease. So they're reviewing it also. So I think, after some more due diligence and some more time to digest some of this information, this will be reviewed again.
Thank you. So there will be no vote on Pat Henry Field this evening. You will be notified by email and probably on the website when we decide to vote on this. As the town attorney said, we were waiting for more information. Once we have all that information together, where we're all comfortable, we will make a decision what we're going to do. Another item is going to come up this evening. There has been a question on the road maintainer appointment. This will be under Councilwoman Zano's topic. Question was the fact that Superintendent of Highways, Rich Benquit, the hiring of his son-in-law. That question came up. By law, the Superintendent of Highways can pretty much hire anybody he wants. That's the law, the highway law. The town board, all the town board can do is fund it or not fund it. Historically, we had communicated these things before, where the highway superintendent would come to myself at the town board and discuss the hiring. The timing of this, I think Rich was worried about how it would look if he came to me and suggested that. So he was going to have his assistant superintendent of highways come in and talk, but unfortunately he was sick. So it turned out that we didn't have the time to move on it. We had tabled it in the December meeting until we all had further information. We discussed this with our HR consultant. We discussed this with our town attorney. And there is nothing wrong with the hiring of his son-in-law in the highway department. He is not working directly under the superintendent of highways. There will be an assistant, there will be foremen, all those, there will be layers in between that. Historically, in the town of Mount Pleasant, we've had many family members working for the town of Mount Pleasant. We're not a big city where people get lost in the shuffle. We don't know what they're doing. In here, we only have maybe 20 people in our highway department. We all know what they're doing, and if they're not doing their job, we'll know about it. So I personally don't have an issue with hiring. His name is Christopher Schrank. But that's something that Ms. Zano will bring up in her agenda. Anything further on that? Okay. Reminder, the second half of the school tax bill is due by January 31st. And also, like usual, we have a problem with our sanitation schedule getting to everyone's home. We do send them out. For whatever reason, they don't get in everybody's mailbox. There are copies at Town Hall. They're in the receiver's office, or in my office.
Town
You
clerk's
have them in
office.
your office.
Yes.
I believe the highway department has them up there also. And they're also online in case you need to see the schedule. And that's all I have on my end. Right now, it's business from the floor. Anybody who wishes to address the board, welcome to do so.
Get up here before the crowd. This is just a traffic and safety thing, and I just want to make a resolution.
Just announce your name, please.
Okay, excuse me, Joe Soroselli, all right, 5 Suzette Lane, Valhalla, New York. All right, traffic and safety issue. I addressed it with the this traffic and safety department on January 2nd. Subsequent to their and let me explain the issue. Recently, and when I say recently, probably within the fourth quarter, there were parking signs put onto a very short piece of Wall Street between Lakeview and Leroy. Prior to that, there were no signs. All right, can't give you exact dates or anything else. Subsequent to that, a lot of cars have been parking on that section of the street. I personally have observed a school bus at approximately 8 o'clock in the morning, backing back onto Lakeview. Slightly dangerous condition, all right? I myself have had to back onto Lakeview due to the issue. Now, I've got a couple of pictures which I'll distribute. They were here that you could review. It was just taken the other night, which realistically was the worst case scenario, all right, that I've seen. All right, the absolute worst case scenario that I've seen so far. And above and beyond that, legally, I drew an arrow on one of the two pictures. People legally can park opposite what you are seeing on there. So there would be absolutely no room to drive down the street. Upon the Traffic and Highways Department's inspection of the existing conditions on Leroy on January 3rd, they posted temporary no parking signs recognizing the issue. My resolution or request is that that the existing signs be removed for, in quotes, legal parking, right? And no parking signs be put up. It is an extremely hazardous condition when people park on the street, especially in the spaces. And, you know, with my observation and discussions with the Traffic and Safety Department, even where the existing no signs are placed, they're not legally placed. They're supposed to be 30 feet from an intersection, giving enough room. They're approximately 15 to 20 feet. So the only thing I need, and I did, and this is at, you know, at the, and I can't remember his name, but at his request, he said, please address the board. It is the town board who institutes parking regulations, whether or not. So it is my request that the town board review the situation. Traffic and Safety has also deemed it fairly dangerous by posting temporary no parking, but the key word is temporary. I think it needs to be changed to permanent. Right? So I appreciate you hearing me, and I would appreciate, hopefully you'll take action on it and change the temporary situation to a permanent situation to realistically protect the children. The other thing which is noted within the pictures, which you can see, the corner on the left-hand side where the stop line is a bus stop for both high school and grammar school kids.
Is there also a stop sign there, Joe?
Yes, there is,
Okay.
but the parking sign is only about 15 feet from the intersection.
Okay.
By Traffic and Safety guidelines, it's supposed to be 30.
I understand. I know exactly where this is. Thank you.
Oh no, it just became, it's gotten out of, it's out of hand. And since the temporary no parking, since nobody's come and complained to you guys, the people that were parking there have to walk another 150 feet because they're probably parking on Leroy now. Right? But it is a safety concern. Thank you for hearing me.
Appreciate that. Well,
Thank you.
I will address it tomorrow with Traffic and Safety.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to address the board?
Good evening. My name's Rob Calori, C-A-L-U-O-R-I. I represent Kensico Little League. Kensico Little League has been an integral part of the Mount Pleasant community since it was founded in 1952. In those 67 years, thousands of children have learned to play the games of baseball and softball, experienced the camaraderie of playing on a team, enjoyed making new friends, and getting much-needed time outside to play in a safe space, free of the biases that plague our society. Kensico Little League prides itself in consistently fulfilling its mission to develop superior citizens rather than superior athletes. The powerful impact of Kensico Little League is experienced and evident every time you hear a former player recall their time in the organization, especially at Pat Henry Field. Kensico Little League has enjoyed a mutually beneficial partnership with the town of Mount Pleasant for nearly 70 years, and together we have accomplished so much, especially at Pat Henry Field. Pat Henry is our home. The league has taken full advantage of having this smaller field to teach children 12 and under the games of baseball, softball, and life lessons. Each year, with the support of the town, Kensico Little League continually invests thousands of dollars maintaining and improving the field, including a $500,000 renovation that took place in 2004. All of this has been brought to fruition through the constant support and generosity of the parents and volunteers that make Kensico Little League possible. While other cities and towns subsidize or even fully fund their Little League programs, at Kensico, we have a 501c3 nonprofit that fully funds our operations through registration fees, sponsorships, and fundraising, asking the town for little more than space. Over the years, we have done our best to be good neighbors with the residents of South Kensico Avenue. The league posts large signs every season telling our families that Pat Henry Field is in a residential area, that they need to drive slowly and carefully. We also ask our families to be mindful of our neighbors at our opening ceremony, parent safety meetings, coaches meetings, and trainings. Most recently, we have made use of our social media outlets to send the reminders that keeping our neighbors and players safe is of our utmost priority. Despite all of this, we find ourselves in a disheartening and unnecessary contention regarding the next evolution at Pat Henry Field, the installation of lights. While the town and community has expressed an outpouring of support for this effort, we have been very disappointed to see the vote to approve our investment in this improvement pulled from the agenda not once, not even twice, but now tonight 3 times. These delays have already cost the league over $25,000 in lost donations from a multitude of local businesses and sponsors. Despite our continued compliance with the multiple inquiries that have been presented to us over the past few months, there has been no action. What is more worrisome than this is the disgraceful manner in which the league has been repeatedly lambasted by the few residents of South Kensico Avenue who disagree with this improvement. At town board meetings and through door-to-door conversations, the residents attack individual members of our board of directors, speak mistruths, and conflate issues, all to derail this improvement. Our board is comprised of unpaid volunteers whose sole purpose is the betterment of the league for the sake of the children who play at Pat Henry Field. The residents have presented the following propaganda. The lights from the field, which would be solely focused on the field during the limited time games occur, would interfere with quality of life. At the same time, residents suggested the town improve lighting, which was done, on the street by adding additional unfocused streetlights that would be on all night, every night, and most certainly increase artificial light entering their homes. The traffic on the street from Kensico Little League increases risks to the residents. The police department conducted 2 traffic studies, which have been presented, one of which was conducted during our busiest weekend of the year and showed that these concerns are unwarranted. Meanwhile, the residents of the road continue to park illegally on the town right-of-way, unenforced, which does cause safety issues as cars try to navigate the street. That the noise of children playing on the field and the crack of the bats is of such egregious disturbance that they cannot enjoy themselves in their homes. South Kensico Avenue runs parallel to the Metro North Railroad line. The homes on the street are 300 to 800 feet from the rail line. It is unfathomable that on a street that endures the horn blasts and diesel motors from train locomotives that run on that line 22 hours a day, 7 days a week, 12 months a year, can find the sound of children playing baseball to be of such great disturbance. The PA systems are a disturbance, which will be compounded by the installation of lights. Residents have made complaints in the past to the police because of the sound of the PA system, causing interruptions to games in progress. On every occasion, the PA system has been found to be operating within the town's noise ordinance. When it is serviced, we regularly ask our vendor to ensure that its setup remains in compliance. This is a practice Kensico Little League will continue, in addition to welcoming the town as a partner in this process. Kensico Little League does not keep the residents informed of our game schedule. The schedule for Pat Henry Field, as with all our games, are posted on our website as they become available. The parents get the schedules the same way, and we invite anyone to view our schedule at any time by going to www.kensicolittleLeague.net and come out and enjoy a game. That the safety concerns from the traffic on the street are compounded by the railroad crossing at Cleveland Street. The residents of the street, who seem disagreeable to change of any kind, forced the town to abandon a previous effort that would have eliminated this crossing. Finally, and most hurtfully, it has been suggested in this room that Kensico Little League simply put lights up somewhere else. Pat Henry Field is our home. Children growing up here start by learning the game by playing t-ball at Pat Henry. It is a smaller field, so it is not used by children who are older than 12. Children who grow up in Valhalla throw their first pitch at Pat Henry before they grow into the older divisions and play at other, larger fields. It is where they develop the love for the sport and grow into playing baseball and softball at the high school level. Simply suggest that we find a new home after 70 years is outrageous, reprehensible, and yet another example of the hateful intolerance we endure every day from a few of our neighbors. At this time, Kensico Little League is asking the town to put an end to this debate and the debasing of a volunteer organization serving the Mount Pleasant community. With every delay, there are additional opportunities for the loud voices of a few who disagree to smear what has taken 70 years to build. Please schedule a vote to allow us to install these lights at our expense. We continue to be a contributing member of this community that we love, and we will accept whatever your decision will be. But we humbly ask that it be for approval. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Steve Arocho, 224 Jefferson Avenue, Valhalla. I don't come up here as a representative of Kensico Little League. I come up here as a parent of the Little League. And just to further establish my connection to this, just 3 tenets from least important to most important. I'm an employee of Major League Baseball, working directly on the cause of growing the games of baseball and softball, pursuant to developing character in kids. Second, I'm a tax-paying citizen of Valhalla, a citizen who chose Valhalla, did not grow up here. I grew up in Queens, New York. I chose Valhalla for the community aspect of it. And third, and most important, I'm a parent of 3 boys who, if I have any say, will continue to grow up and live in Valhalla till they're gray and old. So as an employee of Major League Baseball, I work with the highest levels of the game, from the governing bodies of USA Baseball, USA Softball, Little League International, Cal Ripken, Babe Ruth, any youth incorporated league that you can think of. I have seen firsthand how innovating and growing programs can lead to more availabilities for kids, to help them grow and develop, to increase the availability of the game that I love and many people in this community love, and frankly, you know, to give them opportunities. We should be, as a community, we should be coming together. Baseball brings people together, and we should be giving kids more opportunities, not less. As a tax-paying citizen, again, a citizen that chose to live in Valhalla, I would actually look forward to what lights on a field, again, more programming, more opportunities for kids to play, what that would bring to the community of Valhalla, both from a business and a civic pride point of view. I believe that giving more kids the opportunity to play will lead to more, Valhalla being a place that should be visited, more families will come and visit here, perhaps will add to the value and the civic pride, again, in the community of Valhalla. And lastly, from the knowledge that I've gained from my professional experience, multiple studies have shown that the #1 chosen activity of kids is to do nothing. Is that what we want for children? When kids are choosing to play video games, to be on the internet, to be on their phones, we should be giving them more opportunities to do fun, active, healthy things. Baseball is one of those options. If we have an opportunity, if we have an opportunity, and again, no expense of the community, to give kids more opportunities to play and be active and be healthy, we have a moral and a civic responsibility to do that. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Tracy Spiegelman. I'm a member of South Kensico Avenue, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak tonight. I actually have not, had the opportunity to come here and speak to any of you to address the board. And I think the most important thing I want to get across tonight is we are not your enemies. I am a mother of 2 young children, one of which, my son, who absolutely adores and loves the sport of baseball. So I need you all to understand that every single person on this street gets that. We love it too. No, we really do. We really do get that. Okay? So I am begging you, we are not here to cause a division in this community. We love our town. We love softball, baseball, the Kensico Little League. We have been we have been supportive throughout every single year that you have been playing on our street. So please, hear us when we say this is not an attack against anybody, especially the young children of this community. It is so important that you get that and that you understand that. My son will one day play, he's only 4, or will be 5. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, and he will. This is what I'm saying. He would love to play. He can't wait to play, but here's the thing. And this is where we're going to differ, guys, okay? We are members of this community, but we live where all of this is affecting our lives, not yours, okay? Can you please let me talk?
No
No
comments, please.
Evening games, listen, nobody is stopping the sport of baseball. I wholeheartedly agree with the issue of technology and the issue of giving something for our kids to be doing other than sitting at home and playing video games. Absolutely agree with that. And nobody's stopping the sport of baseball. You guys will still exist with or without these lights, okay? But what the lights do to us is far more of an issue than not having the lights does to you. And I don't know how to express that other than have you live in one of our homes. You know, come on by, spend a night over there. Like, it's not your house. You don't know what it's like to live across the street from a field. You don't know. And, you know, my kids, they're young. A game at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night will affect bedtime. It will affect our family time as a whole, as, you know, a unit. It's like, I'm a working mother. I'm not home with my kids all day. That's my special time with my kids. And having to worry about, and by the way, I've spent numerous walks going back and forth to town with my kids in a stroller, passing cars coming, yes, very fast down the street. And I'm sure people knew about the police testing the road during that time period, okay? Because I've lived there for 6 years and I know that people speed. And I've had to wave people down before and say, hey, hello, do you not see my stroller here? Like, we live there every single day, in and out, and we know what the traffic is like, and we know why it's important that we don't increase the traffic to the street any more than it's already been increased, and especially at night when it is dark and dangerous. My husband commutes home from the city every night. Like, he's walking down that street, and he has had numerous occasions where he's been almost sideswiped. This is not, like, we're not bringing this up to make your lives misery or make these kids' lives misery. This is our livelihood, our quality of life. Okay, guys? Like, please understand that. This is not us trying to take you down or be vindictive. And, you know, we've written a letter. I'm not going to go and read it. It's quite long, as I'm sure you've seen. I don't want to waste any more time. I just wanted you guys to hear from somebody who loves baseball, who loves their kids, who wants this type of environment for their children, but who would never ask anybody else to deal with lights at an 8 o'clock game shining into their windows at night because kids want to play at night versus in the morning. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't ask people that. And, you know, I really hope you guys can hear us out and understand that this is going to affect us more than anybody else in this community. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Francesca Hagedis McHale. I live at 24 Brentwood Drive in Pleasantville, and I just have some questions that have remained unanswered because, as you know, I did follow this story for quite some time on this side of the dais and here. Okay, first of all, are the 2 new board members totally aware of the pros and cons of lights on the field?
They have been giving all the information that all the town board members have had. We have copies of every email, all the letters, and they've been shared with the board members.
When were they shared? Because it's only been, what, 2 weeks?
I don't have the exact date, but all that information was shared with the town board members.
Well, during what period of time? I mean, over what period of time? Has Elizabeth...
Past 2 weeks.
The past 2 weeks. Has Elizabeth Cantor come in and explained her PowerPoint? Because just looking at the papers of the PowerPoint.
No, they didn't see the PowerPoint.
Okay.
It was part of the emails that were given to the board members to look at.
Okay.
I don't know.
The PowerPoint is very detailed and
We know
needs
that.
explanation.
We reviewed it also, yes. We know that.
Okay, and it bears examination, careful examination of the data there. Okay, pros and cons. Okay.
As you're aware, we're not voting on this tonight.
I know. I just wanted to understand more. These are just questions. Okay, and also, who called in Metro North? From what I understand, Metro North is now involved in this?
I have no idea. I was contacted by them, and we shared information with them today.
Okay, all right.
I have no idea.
I just wanted to know that. And the other question is, what about Cleary Consultants? I understand that they're involved in this. What are they looking for? Or are they working for the town, for the Little League?
For the town.
For the town. Okay, these are my questions. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I just jump in here? I remember with the Metro North emails that we received in the email thread, there was a name that seemed to be the author of the original request to a Mr. Mannix, and I believe it came from a Christopher Burrows.
Anyone else like to address the board?
Good evening. My name is Mike Orley. I'm at 73 South Kensico Avenue. I've been a resident for almost 33 years. It'll be 33 years in April. We raised a family in Valhalla. Our 2 kids played Little League. My wife volunteered with Little League. We are not saying we don't want the games played. We are not saying anything other than we don't want the lights. The difference is, right now you've had games played for 60, 70 years. We're not talking about stopping altogether. We have this issue with the lights, and there's an issue with safety. Every night I get home, I don't get home before 7:30, 8 o'clock every night. I have to dodge some cars. Some are street cars. You know, it's dark enough on the street. We didn't get any new lights. We got LED lights. They just replaced the lights that were there before. We don't have any additional lights. And in fact, Thanksgiving weekend, Sunday, we had an accident where a pole was knocked down. Con Ed came out, police came out. Con Ed sat there for 4 hours in one of these big massive trucks in front of our house. 4 hours later, a snowplow, town snowplow, came through, took down the other pole because it couldn't get past the truck. I have a picture if you'd like to see it. The point being, it's a narrow street, it's very dark at night, we have to navigate the street. I've had to step aside several times because cars don't see us coming, and I don't want to get my life taken by a car, certainly not my family or the kids on the street. We have several seniors on the street, so you really need to keep in mind that there's a safety issue besides all the other points made in the letter that was sent to you, I guess yesterday or today. So just please read the letter that came today. You'll see all the signatures on it. That's from the town. And we are not stopping games. It's just the lights. Why have games till 10 o'clock at night? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Linda Palumbo. I'm the Director of Sponsorship and Fundraising for Kensico Little League. Although I'm new to the board, I've only been with them for 2 years, I can speak to the character and the hard work and the dedication of every single one of my fellow board members. The reason I am standing before you today is because of Kensico Little League. My son started playing when we lived in Yorktown because that was permissible based on Kensico Little League's policies. It's because of that experience and the amazing, outstanding people that sit in the back of this room who welcomed us into this community that we are here and that we specifically bought in this town. You guys have an amazing town. You do an amazing job running it. All we're asking for is equal consideration. I know there's a lot of safety concerns. I know there's a lot of things that need to be weighed, and I kind of feel a little bit like the Lorax speaking for the trees because unfortunately this coincided with the middle school concert. So my emails are very brief, but I promised these people that I would read them to you because they are your constituents and they do have a right to be represented. Hi, both my kids play for Kensico Little League. I cannot make the meeting tonight due to the concert, so I'm writing to show my support for the lights. Karen Bonacore. Hi, I won't be able to attend tonight's meeting, but I have 100% supporting the lights at Pat Henry Field. Thanks, Karen Sama. This is my personal favorite. To the Town of Mount Pleasant Board, I am in support of the lights being installed at Pat Henry Field. Lights would make Pat Henry the jewel of Little League fields in Westchester County. I'm a lifelong resident of Valhalla who, along with my children, graduated from Valhalla High School. I'm 55 years old and still have fond memories of playing at Pat Henry in the mid-'70s. I was fortunate enough to see my children also play at Pat Henry Field. My children are grown now and still live in Valhalla, and hopefully someday I will be able to watch my grandchildren play at Pat Henry under the lights. Although I tend to be a traditionalist, when it comes to baseball, even Wrigley Field got its lights. Thank you for your consideration, Richard Harnedy. Lastly, I just want to speak for myself and my kids. I have a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 2-year-old. The 7-year-old and 5-year-old both play. My husband coaches. I devote countless hours to working with our community, to reaching out to corporations, getting people in the door to Pat Henry. It is a jewel of a field, and I feel like it can only be improved, and our relationship with our neighbors beyond the South Kensico Street, but our corporate neighbors, our little businesses, everyone can benefit from the just exposure that we could have from having such a beautiful field made even more bejeweled by lights. So thank you for your time and your consideration.
Hi, my name is Mark Stefanov. I'm a resident of South Kensico Avenue. None of us on the street or on Howard Street, none of us are against Little League or baseball or day games. The thing has to do with nights. It's not the right location for it. We're on a dead-end street. It has only one way in, one way out. Okay, so why are we endangering children, commuters, rail passengers if you allow night games at Pat Henry Field? According to a recent Mount Pleasant Police Department traffic study, shifting games later would actually put more children, pedestrians, into the highest volume time period at this intersection. And by intersection, I mean the whole thing. The commuter parking lot, the Bronx Parkway, as well as Columbus and Broadway. Additionally, the U.S. Department of Transportation confirmed the most dangerous time at railroad grade crossings is right after dusk and the early evening. Why are parents willing to put their children at risk when there are and could be safer alternatives? Example, the Virginia Road field. It's far away from the parkway. It's not in a residential area. It has tons of roads to get in and out of it, and there's no railroad grade crossing to deal with. As well as the town has a great opportunity to build on the North 60. Okay, you can use that for night games. No one's saying get rid of the games at Pat Henry Field. Pat Henry Field is a historic field. It's been there, but it's historic as a day game field. So let's keep it that way. Ask yourselves what the real motivation for the push is by Kensico Little League. Is it for the children of Mount Pleasant, or is it to attract teams from all over New York District 20 baseball leagues, creating a living legacy for some of its board members, putting children and families unfamiliar with the peculiarities of the Cleveland Street crossing at risk? The only other means of egress from that neighborhood is Howard and High Street, and it also has its own peculiarities. The road is mostly a single-track road, especially in the evening. Incredibly narrow, steep, curvy. So I just want you to think about this and think about the alternatives. I heard Mrs. Smalley always saying, oh, compromise, compromise. You haven't offered any compromise on anything. I'm offering compromise. The compromise is there's other fields to use for night games. Keep the day games at Pat Henry Field. It's a great field. It's great for the little kids. They love to play there, okay? But if they're only going to have like one night game, there's other fields you can put lights on. Like I say, Virginia Road, it's far from the parkway. It's got tons of roads in and out of it. It's a much better location. As well as think about the New North 60. I mean, there's a lot of things ripe in there that you can do that with. Okay? Thank you.
Hi, my name's Keith Witchman. I live at 108 Franklin Avenue in Valhalla. I'm just talking to you as a parent right now. My daughter grew up playing in Little League. She currently now plays for Valhalla. She's sitting back there with her varsity team. Just to let you guys know, I remember when she was in 3rd grade, she got her first chance of playing under lights at Sherman Park. and she loved it, right? She fell in love with the game, playing. I remember every year after that, she would come home after I would schedule meetings with the teams, and she would ask me, who are we playing, where are we playing? I want to know, do we have night games, do we have lights? And she fell in love with it, and she has a passion and desire to play the game. Because of that, I decided to get back and join the board and be part of Kensico Little League and coach, and been doing it ever since. And now I'm trying to make a difference for my little one who's growing up in the program as well. So I'm looking forward to they have that same experience that my daughter did, and make her a better person and do something she really loves to do. Talking as a board member, just to clear up some miscommunication, if we do put lights on the field, there's not going to be any additional lighting in your houses. These lights are shining down. They're not shining up to make anything brighter. Also, we can't put lights on Virginia Road Field. It's not an option. So I just want to say thank you for your time, and please vote for the lights. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Joseph Rush, live at 15 Pamela Lane. Been a resident for a long time. I've been involved with Kensico Little League for the past 16 years. Started as a coach, manager. I'm a board member now, safety director. One of the residents in town gave me a letter. She was really writing it to me, but she wanted me to read it. I asked her, could I read it to the board? And she said, sure. So I'd like to read this to her. We moved here when our boys were 4 and 2, specifically because we wanted the sort of community feel that Valhalla offers. So much of what we love about Valhalla is centered around community, and families watching their kids play sports is one of those things. Our boys went through the Kensico Little League system from T-ball up to seniors. Some of our happiest memories are watching our boys play, and some of their happiest memories are of playing baseball with their friends. It's just so much a part of our lives. And the beginning of it all are the games that they played at Pat Henry. The reason that I believe so strongly that the lights should be put up at Pat Henry is because of those days when our boys were younger. Once a season, they got to play a late game under the lights. But they couldn't play that game at their home field. It had to be played at Bradhurst, which is a dirt field and not nearly as nice as their home field. But we don't have lights, so they had to wait for that one special game a season. And believe me, it was an exciting thing for them. Another reason is that since the games need to happen so early to get to the whole game before sundown, many parents miss seeing their kids play because they have to work until 5 and then drive home or take the train. And by the time they make it to the field, the game is over. No one should have to miss the absolute specialness of watching their son or daughter play a game. It's more than a game. It's bonding and coming together as a community, and your kid learning how to be a part of that something. And for someone to say to a parent, you can't be a part of the biggest thing in your child's life because I don't want a light shining in my window, or you may drive too fast down my road, is unbelievably selfish. Because the community of Valhalla knows that road, drives down it slowly, they're very cautious. And yes, strangers will be driving down that road, but they do that for other reasons also. Will the board ban any visitor driving down that road? Will the neighbors say that no one can have a visitor at night? My younger son played baseball in Kensico until 8th grade when he quit to pursue other sports. He decided to go back to baseball in his senior year of high school and was uncertain if he could still play, but every one of his friends from his Little League days stood behind him and told him he could do it because that bond will last forever. He had an amazing senior year, and for me, it was such a sweet, nostalgic trip to sit with those same parents that I sat with when our boys were young, and to see those same players that I knew at age 5 all grown up now and still having the same bond with each other, which is what I think the residents of that road and maybe the board is missing. This is not about the logistics of lights and budgets and strangers driving down your road. This is about making the greatest memories with your kids. It's about community and family and friends. As your kids grow up and remember their amazing childhood playing ball with their friends, not one of them is going to say, hey, remember what that guy that drove down the road at Pat Henry going 3 miles over the speed limit? That was awesome. No, they're going to remember the feeling of playing with their friends, having their mom and dad watching them after work, and they're going to remember how awesome that was. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ken Noonan, Valhalla. The letter that was drafted by the town to the Kensico Little League, dated January 10th, begins as follows. The town of Mount Pleasant has been and continues to be a huge supporter of the Kensico Little League and the use of Pat Henry Field for our youngsters. Now, my kids weren't into baseball, so I really don't have any direct experience with the Kensico Little League. But I've lived in town for a good long time, and I've heard very good things about them. And I'm sure you're deserving of this enthusiastic support from the town. And we on South Kensico and nearby are not against Little League baseball. But what I'm not seeing and hearing in this letter and elsewhere is that I'm not seeing or hearing from my town the same level of enthusiastic support for the residents and taxpayers of South Kensico Avenue. I'm not seeing the same level of enthusiastic support for the taxpaying residents on South Kensico, Upland, Hillside Avenue, for the peaceful, quiet enjoyment of their homes and their properties. I'm not seeing the same level of enthusiastic support for the safety and well-being of the residents of South Kensico and anyone traversing South Kensico Avenue for any reason. I'm not seeing the same level of support for preserving the ecosystem that borders South Kensico and Pat Henry Field. Now, this letter from the town to the Kensico Little League has a list of many questions. But conspicuously absent from this list of questions is the question, why? Why does the Kensico Little League need lights? Now, we've been told many times that the Kensico Little League is not going to expand the number of games. Now, if the Kensico Little League came to the town and said, well, listen, our registration is trending upward, we need more field time, we have to schedule more games, and we really need to have lights so we can play at night, I can wrap my head around that. That makes sense to me. It makes sense. Not to say that I would be in favor of the lights, but that makes sense to me. That you have your registration is trending upward, but I'm understanding that your registration is trending downward, and that your number of games is trending downward. So, why do you need the lights? It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, I agree with Mr. Stefanoff. There's another field, a stone's throw away from Pat Henry Field. There's a wonderfully constructed field that is beautifully maintained, where, and I disagree with the gentleman who said you can't put the lights there. I believe you can put the lights there, and you can enjoy night games to your heart's content and not bother any resident. And I don't know why you wouldn't consider this, which is, in my mind, very much a win-win situation for everybody. Thank you.
Just one point, Mr. Noonan. If the town board did not care about the residents on South Kensico, we probably would have voted on this in August. We are taking everybody's concerns at heart. We didn't jump to any conclusions here. We're doing our research. We want to do the right thing. So don't say, you already had your time. Don't say that we are not showing a concern for the residents on South Kensico, because that's farthest from the truth. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Douglas Goodman. I live on South Kensico Avenue. I have one quick thing to say. Neighbors, you worried about people driving fast? Look at yourselves and look at your neighbors.
My name is Brian Goodman. Yes, that's my father that just spoke. And I grew up moving. I first moved here when I was 4 years old. And part of the attraction for that was the baseball field. And right when we got here, I registered and I played all through maybe my freshman year of high school. And that's how I established all my friendships, along with during school. And it's just, Kensico Little League is something, as previously stated, it keeps kids off the streets, gets them involved in recreational community activities. You build long-lasting friendships, and you can even give back to the community. For me, as part of our fundraising for Valhalla Baseball to go to Disney World, we had volunteered to do weekly clinics for Kensico Little League. I don't remember exactly the ages, but I believe like 5 through 10 maybe. And we volunteered our Tuesdays or Thursday nights every week to help and give back to the community and try to grow the game. For me personally, through Kensico Little League, they also helped us go to Cooperstown All-Star Village for a tournament, which is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And we got to play plenty games under the lights, and it was just a life-changing experience for all of us. And the last thing I want to say, as we have an MLB representative here, I'm sure he's well aware of the initiative the game has taken with their motto, "Let the kids play." And I believe that is something you should take to heart in realizing that we need to grow the game more and help expand and give kids the opportunity to play the great game of baseball.
Hello, my name is Danielle Olenchek. I'm a senior varsity softball player at Valhalla High School. I'm a product of Kensico Little League, and I think I can speak on behalf of all my teammates in the Maroon Jackets that Kensico Little League is more than just a baseball team, more than just a softball team. It's truly, what brings the community together. I can speak on so many events like the baseball team. Being a softball player, they helped us go to Disney. We run clinics in the Thursday nights, just, bring the community together, teach the younger athletes, and I think it really is something that is so important to what makes Valhalla so special that everybody has talked about. It truly makes us, a community, and that's something that I really value not only as an athlete but as an employee of the Little League. I work in the Snack Shack. I've been there for a couple years now, and it's really something so valuable to me, learning how to, do certain things and become involved in the workforce and stuff like that. But truly, it's just such an amazing opportunity that I feel like, bringing lights to it would be not only something that, enhances the facilities at Pat Henry with the Snack Shack, the bleachers, everything, but just would truly kind of, bring the essence to baseball and softball that makes it so special, the teamwork, and, bring teams together. And some of our fondest memories, me and my teammates, is playing under the lights, away games, which we only got maybe once a season if we were lucky. And I think, bringing lights to Pat Henry would not only be something that, like I said, would enhance the field, but would enhance, what makes the league so special. Thank you.
My name is Joe O'Mara. I live at 105 South Kensico Avenue. I don't have too much to say, so I'll say just a couple of words, okay?
Sure.
The only thing what we're concerned about is when the people leave. You have train tracks there. You have people coming out of the train. And when you can't see when you come up on that hill, and when you come down, there's going to be a lot of problems. There's going to be people that's going to get run over. You can't help that because you can't see, because you come up the hill, and once you come down, that's it. And you got train tracks there. It's really not a good spot. But that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Pat Orley. I'm also a resident of South Kensico, and I too will keep it brief. I have been a long-term resident of South Kensico. I have had two sons who are products like these great kids here of South Kensico Little League, and I have enjoyed every minute of my time on the fields, both at Clove Road and at Kensico. I think they're both great, and yes, it was cold, and yes, I had to hurry home from work to see my kids, and they all survived like these great kids here. And I would just like to say, having said all of that, I had to ask my husband, I can't even remember the date, when the field was reconstructed, we all came here and we were all very much concerned about the quality of our road and spending months with many, 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 many tractor trailers and dump trucks up and down our streets. But it was a commitment we made as residents to work with the Little League to improve your field, our field. And we were told at that time, a promise was made that there was no intentions of lighting the field. I'm still here. I still remember what you said. I still remember the summer of dust and dirt and ruining our roads, which you all know has helped reduce the speed because they've been so horrible for years. Just now repaired. I don't understand if you had never any intention for lights. Why is it already wired? Were you telling us the truth? And why do you need it now if you've been so successful for so many years? And I understand, oh, it's great, I'm going to play under the lights. That's great. Once, twice a season, fine. But you don't need it every night. And all I hear about from all of the Little League people or the Little League board members is, it's great for our kids. It's what we want. And that South Kensico is being bad neighbors. I beg to differ. We have been very good neighbors over the years. We stand out in front of our houses. We cheer. We put up signs. We support you. My kids' favorite pictures are the ones they have in their Little League field, Little League uniforms. They're 30 and 25, and I'm very glad they participated. And I value your contribution to our community. I'm asking you to value us. It's all about what we should do for you. You put up plastic signs and you put a trailer on your website. Please go slow. The signs or the layout for the field is not what was originally intended, and there are many things that we let slide. We're your neighbors. We get it. Please don't make us into the enemy. But please remember the commitment you made to us. We lived up to our part of the bargain. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Bob Candria, president of Kensico Little League. I just have a couple of questions. I mean, I'm glad that the people are here. You can hear both sides of the story, okay? The problem that Kensico has is it's been going on for 7 months, and it's the same stories over and over. The traffic, the railroad, this and that. When is it going to be finalized? You know, you're saying that the town attorney has to look at the liability or this and that. It's been 7 months, and all the same questions have been asked and answered. It's time to make a move. You know, now I hear that someone on the street sent a letter into the Metro North. Are you going to wait for Metro North to come back with their stats and figures? That could take, you know, Metro North, it could take 6 months. And every time you delay a vote, we lose money. We're paying for it, $150,000. Okay, we lost approximately $30,000. That, you know, people said they had to spend it by the end of the year. So December 17th, we thought we were going to have a vote, and it was pulled for whatever reason. But we lost $30,000. And, you know, trying to go back to people once you ask for it, it's hard. You know, and whatever their complaints are, that's for you to find out. But I know the lawyer has sent the letter to us. We've sent our response back. He wants to clarify some stuff. He wants to look at the lease agreement. Fine. But we went to the county. Kelly, your superintendent of rec, Lori Smalley, and we sat with them. They're not going to look at the lease agreement until April, when it expires. And we're not too concerned about it because we've had it for over 25 years. A lease agreement has been signed since 1963 for that property with Westchester County. I don't see, if you want to try to protect us of spending $150,000, the county's going to take it away from us, or from, not us, the town, because it's the agreement's with you. We don't have a problem with that because it's been so long. I don't think they're going to do that. You know, and more traffic. There's not going to be more games. It's moving from 5:30 to maybe 7:30. It's not 2 games that same night. I mean, we've been telling the town board every little thing what you want. You want the lights maybe shut off at 10. We agree with that. Okay? But there has to be certain circumstances. You know, if it's the 5th inning, you can't shut the lights off at 10. You let them finish the game. I mean, it might be another 15 minutes, but is that going to be every night? No. And it gets dark at 8:30. So the lights are only going to be on maybe for an hour and a half tops if you start. Because games usually take an hour and 45 minutes, 2 hours tops. If you start at 7:30, you run into a little nighttime. But you have all our information. I just don't want the residents, they have their right to write to you and this and that, but I don't want these questions to be answered and then another one comes in next week and you go, oh, we got to look at this one. It's time to vote. Put it on the agenda. Whatever happens, happens. We'll deal with it. And that's all I have to say, but I want to thank you for the time. And I hope you vote yes. That's all.
Anyone else like to address the board?
Okay. I've been to a few of the board meetings where you guys have discussed this in the past. My name is Eric Linsley, Linsley. Full disclosure, I'm a coach in Kensico. I just recently got appointed to the board. I do not speak for the board. I'm speaking as a dad. My daughter started T-ball. Very first pitch, or I'm sorry, very first hit. Made it almost to the pitcher's mound, and then she ran immediately to third base. True story. When she ended her time in Kensico in the last year's softball, she ended it as Player of the Year. She developed. She had a great experience. My son, he struggled in sports now and then, and he just made Game on 13's travel team. Even if you approved it tonight, neither of my kids will be able to play under the lights. And I don't have younger kids. I'm here fighting for the thousands and thousands of families yet to come to this town, yet to even be born. It's the experience of Little League and you know, being a coach and working with these kids. The lights will only enhance that experience. It'll also allow, again, like people keep saying, why? I work down in New York City, and I do make the time. I miss games. I do make the time, but I would be able to coach more games. I would be available more to the kids, and so are a lot of other moms and dads. Driving down Kensico before the meeting, several meetings, there are 12 streetlights along Kensico. There were over 35 lights on in front of houses along that street. Some houses have 4 lights. The porch, the stairwell, the driveways. You're talking about lights being on at the ballpark, professionally aimed, for an hour, hour and a half. Just listening, it seems like the opposition is about the park. I hear about safety constantly. I haven't heard one person that keeps arguing about safety say, you know what, we should have a sidewalk on the opposite side of the street. Oh, you did? If you did, I apologize. I missed it. That there should be a sidewalk on the opposite side of the street. And then the last thing. That's about it. I got more stuff, but I'll hold on to it. There are other towns that, Ardsley, just down the block, they use the portable generators, the diesel portable generators that you see at roadside construction. They line their football field with it, then they move them down to their baseball field, they move them to the soccer field. They're loud, they have fumes, and the lights aren't professionally aimed. This option of building the lights and investing in this town and investing in this field, that's quiet. And they're going to be professionally aimed. With the diesel generators, if they go that way, which Little Leagues all across the state do, and they can't use it with 12U because they're not high enough. So there are other options, but they might not be as popular. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jenna Nienaber. I am a resident on South Kensico. I am opposed to the proposal of adding lights at Pat Henry Field. My husband and I love our neighborhood, and there's nothing that we would want to change about it. Adding lights to the field for night games would definitely change our little community. Changes that would really affect our safety, our quality of life, and property values on the street. I urge the board to really take into account all the complexities that adding these lights would bring about before making your final decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to address the board?
Hi, my name is Colin Rem, resident of South Kensico Avenue. Sitting here for the last hour or so, I want to be philosophical for a second. I think it's fantastic that so many people have come out to support the Little League, and that so many people have come out to support our street. This experience has really given us a chance to meet and get to know our neighbors really, really well in a kind of a strange circumstance, but it's been an opportunity to build community. So that's the philosophical part. I just want to touch on a couple of additional things. Again, to reiterate, our neighborhood has no issue with the sport of baseball, Kensico Little League, or anything like that. I played baseball for 8 years. I was the only kid that ever struck out a T-ball. Seriously, they forgot the T, and I just couldn't hit the coach's pitch. So I struck out and I cried, and I remember that. Anyway, that's not the point of the story. I just kind of want to touch on a couple of things, and again, I don't want to just repeat things that we've already said, but I did want to take the opportunity to welcome the 2 new board members and give them a little bit of additional information that maybe they don't have. So I'm just going to stick to a couple of facts and then move on. So just to kind of reiterate a couple of things, over 80% of residents of the street responded to a unbiased systematic survey saying they are not in favor of placing the lights. Pedestrian fatalities and severe injuries are much more likely to occur at night. Safety is not fun. Baseball is fun. Talking about safety, that doesn't sell tickets, but that's one of our biggest concerns. As I mentioned already, fatal events at grade crossings are much more likely to occur at night. Twice as many pedestrians are basically engaging with that intersection at the 30 minutes before the proposed start to evening games, then from 5:15 to 5:45, which would be kind of the time when there's lots of traffic for Little League at the current time. This data was corroborated by the traffic study that we received the data from the town. Now, the biggest kind of concern, which has been alluded to, but we haven't really delved into it tonight, and I'm not saying that we should for purposes of time, is this notion of that neither the town nor the Little League can limit access or use of the field. Now, if we'd been approached in August of 2019 with a very, very clear and firm proposal saying, this is our plan, and this is how we're going to do it. It's really different than this kind of vague notions of how many games a week, when are they starting, when are they finishing. Things have kind of changed over time. But our real concern is that they built such a beautiful baseball field. It is the best Little League field I've ever seen in my life. They should get credit for that. But by building such an attraction and then adding lights to it, talk about an attraction. And one of our concerns is that will attract additional games. That the town, you may give us your word that you're not going to allow games Monday through Wednesday or whatever, but really we can't control that. So that's one of our big concerns. That's a Pandora's box, and that could have lots of consequences. So again, I thank you for the time, and also wanted to close one last thing. If these consultants want to ask us any questions or clarifying any points, please feel free to reach out to us. I think you have, well, probably all of our emails, but that we want to be part of this conversation. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Diana Wichman. I live at 108 Franklin Ave. I'm a mom of two girls who play t-ball and softball. My husband is actually on the board, but I'm really speaking more as a parent and an observer for the last few months about what has gone on. And I want to first emphasize that for the people that live on your street, I'm sorry it appears we're unsympathetic. It is not that we are unsympathetic. What I think has been frustrating has been that questions are being asked that have been answered, but what we're hearing is a lot of misinformation being spread around. And obviously also with things being said about Kensico Little League board members, it's kind of gotten very aggressive on both sides. And for example, one question that was asked again was, what about Virginia Road Field? That field is not allowed to have lights because of its proximity to the Bronx River Parkway. These are all, and if you ask and you look at, please ask the people that know. Okay, well, again, I have the microphone, thank you. Again, questions are being asked that are answered or the information is being slanted one way or the other. Now, obviously, your street has issues with safety, whether it's about Kensico Little League or not. And so what's interesting is it just took Kensico Little League coming up for you to actually voice these concerns. And it has nothing to do with Kensico Little League. There are issues, and you're right, your street is very tight, and we can appreciate that, but that's a separate issue. The lights shining down will not shine into your house. They're shining down. So that's another thing that seems to be some confusion on. And I think that at this point, the board has been very gracious about listening to concerns, but we are providing evidence. And if you have questions, if you look at the documentation and you ask any of the Kensico Little League board members, they've been researching. I've watched my husband go nuts finding information about this for the last few months, but it doesn't seem like the answers want to be heard. And just because everyone does not like the decision doesn't mean it's not the best thing for the community. So I think that's all I have to say. Aside from the fact, though, I think a lot of the negativity also occurred because of a former board member doing selective flyering and secret votes, clandestine votings.
I will sue you for that. I will, because I did not.
Okay, and I take offense to that. But okay,
You just sit down.
Okay.
Okay.
Regardless.
She has the floor.
Regardless, I think that started the ball rolling in terms of the antagonism. But I appreciate the board. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to our concerns.
He spoke already. Carl, he spoke.
I spoke already, but I want to make one more comment. Francesca had nothing to do with that flyer. In fact, it was my wife who sent that flyer out. Francesca didn't even know about that flyer, which Miss Smalley would not hand to her when she requested to see it that day. My wife sent out that flyer.
Thank you.
And the IMA on Virginia Royal Field, it says nothing about lights. In fact, that field is away from the parkway much more than Pat Henry Field. If you look at, if you walk on both fields, as I did with the Historical Society on the weekend, it's considerably further from the parkway than Pat Henry. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't want to continue the same comments over and over again. If there's somebody has something new they want to just add to this conversation.
Please.
Hello, my name is Ava D'Antal. I'm a freshman at Valhalla High School and I play softball. I've been a part of the Little League community since 3rd grade up until 7th grade. And I believe that when I was younger, I looked up to Derek Jeter and he would play underneath the lights. And if I were to play underneath the lights, I would get such a form of confidence because I would feel like the major leaguers. And it would make me feel so much more special if I were to do that as well. And Kensico Little League has taught me so much confidence in my ability because of all the board members and all of the coaches in this community. And I believe that children should have the voice to go up and play when it's the nighttime because, I mean, confidence is very important to our community because it makes you who you are and it makes you be able to succeed in what you believe in. So I believe that we should have the lights because, for me personally, Kensico Little League has formed my character so much just because of leadership skills and learning. And I think that lights should be able to be up for all these children in our community because, I mean, it's Little League. You're a kid, you play baseball, you play softball, and it's part of your life. And it was part of my life for so long, and it still is today. So, thank you.
Okay. I think we're going to move on. I'd like to thank you all for both sides giving your sides of your story. The town board will eventually make a decision. I don't have the exact date yet, but we will. You will all be notified when that date is going to come up. There's a couple more things that the town attorney and myself and this board will finalize, and you will all be notified when that date is going to be. Again, I thank you all for participating in this discussion.
Can we call?
Can we have a
Could we get-
5-minute break, please?
We could get a little bit of a
Take 5
recess?
minutes?
Yes,
Thank you.
please, thank you. Because you have to give them to Kelly, not Kelly, Amanda tomorrow to put into the record?
This is
Some were read, but we don't want to read them.
Next item on our agenda is to move on to the town clerk's report.
Town clerk's agenda, January 14th, 2020 town board meeting. Bid opening, phase 9 of the water main extension and prepared meals for nutrition program. Received supervisor and registrar's report, December 2019. Received building department monthly report, December 2019. Received Mount Pleasant historian annual report 2019. Received Mount Pleasant Public Library Board minutes November 21, 2019. Received election results from the following fire districts: Pleasantville Fire District, Thornwood Fire District, Pocatello Hills Fire District. 3 planning board resolutions: Rosary Hill Home Convent steep slope permit approval, Rosary Hill Home Convent site plan approval, Rosary Hill Home Convent secret negative declaration. 11 zoning board resolutions: 290 Commerce Street, Hawthorne, Atlantis Management Group, Hudson Pines LLC, Mark and Robin Farrell, Rosary Hill Home, Stacy Bove Fulgenzi, Raphael and Lorena Ruggiero, George and Carmelyn Viborde, Janet Dawson, Thomas and Mary Kate McCabe, Francis and Aline Nicolai. And I also have an announcement to make. The resident commuter parking permits go on sale next Tuesday, January 21. The requirements are current car registration showing the Mount Pleasant address, the current driver's license of the commuter showing the Mount Pleasant address. The fee is $375 for the year, which is the same as last year. If you're paying by check, make it payable to the town of Mount Pleasant, or you can pay by cash. The new permits go into effect on March 1st. In order to expedite purchasing process, please bring a printed copies of your driver's license and car registration. And this time, for the first time, we're going to have additional office hours for the sale of parking permits on Saturday, February 8th and February 15th from 9 a.m. to noon. If you have any question, please call the town clerk's office at 742-2312. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to council reports. Councilman Shulman.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to present the comptroller's memo by department categories. Town clerk, $856.50. Attorney, $29,307.96. Building, town hall, $20,518.26. Highway garage, $3,875. Off-street parking, $1,250. Safety inspection, $4,480. Parks, $3,200. Adult programs, $3,009.75. Planning board, $2,000. General repair, $6,990. Highway machinery, $5,416.27. Highway snow removal, $7,346.58. Highway general capital project, $516,981.64. Capital highway machinery and equipment, $187,071. Highway garage roof repair, $8,340.38. Capital Old Farm Hill water, $123,767.69. Kensico capital projects, $1,940. Debt service, $222,000. Prepaid expenses, $1,561. Mount Pleasant Consolidated Sewer District, $754.09. Joint Water District Fund, $1,131.14. Mechanical Water District, 1, $21,397.80. Kensico Water, $15,050. Trust and agency escrow, $8,500, which brings the grand total to $2,196,745.06. All supporting documentation is available in the Comptroller's office. I'd like to move for approval, please.
Motion by Mr. Schulman.
I'd like to second that, please.
Second by Mr. Saliano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next resolution is the authorization to enter an agreement with New York Life to give employees the opportunity to enroll in a life insurance plan. This fringe benefit will be of no cost to the town and is a new option for employees to elect if they opt to. Employees will have open enrollment opportunities to meet with the New York Life representatives to go over enrollment options. Contribution amounts are based on employee demographic figures. I'd like to move to approve, please.
Motion by Mr. Schulman.
Second.
Second by Ms. Zano. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Councilman Saliano.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My report is from the Police Department. We have one purchase order for you for this evening. It's purchase order number 30-20-08. This is for surveillance cameras, ladies and gentlemen. The vendor is Global Surveillance Systems, GSS. The total price is $4,252.80, and this is specifically for surveillance cameras for Town Hall and an additional traffic camera. And again, the total price is $4,252.80. I move for approval, please, for these surveillance cameras for our police department.
Motion by Mr. Saliano.
Second.
Second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I thank you. Have a great evening, and welcome to Jerry and Danielle to the board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Smalley.
Yes, good evening. As usual, my report tonight is from the Town of Mount Pleasant Recreation and Parks Department. The first item on the agenda is purchase order number 70-20-01. Authorization to purchase Camp Doc software and services. Camp Doc will be connected to the RecTrack system. It will allow online registration specifically for day camp. The Camp Doc system will allow the Recreation Department to have online registration and access to all the registration information at any time, not just at the time when someone is enrolled in day camp. This is important because the Westchester County Department of Health will accept this online registration. The system will also eliminate hours of employees copying registration forms. It will save paper, but it will also be able to have parents and custodians of children upload immunization records directly into the system, saving parents time and effort coming in to bring in those required immunization records. We consider this a sole source provider and will not seek additional quotes. This software is exclusively acceptable by the Westchester County Department of Health regarding electronic signatures. The purchase price is $2,600 for up to 65 users, participants at $4 each. Again, the total cost of this project will be $3,600. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley.
Second.
Second by Mr. Schulman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item is authorization to enter into agreement with Northeast Special Recreation. Memo number 1. The Recreation Department requests permission to enter into agreement with Northeast Westchester Special Recreation from January 1st to December 31st of 2020. Northeast will provide recreation program to the Mount Pleasant residents with special needs. Mount Pleasant is one of 12 municipalities that contribute to this organization. It's a very valuable program. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley.
Second.
Second by Ms. Zano.
Aye.
Bless you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I thought there was a vote.
Motion carries.
Memo number 2. Moving on, memo number 2, authorization to hire seasonal parks groundkeepers and park attendants, park rangers, at defined pay scale. Authorization is to hire up to 16 seasonal park groundskeepers and park attendants as per the following pay scale. New hires, minimum age 18 years with valid driver's license, $13 an hour. Returning employees, $13 an hour, plus 50 cents for each prior year of service. 16 or 17 years old, non-drivers are paid at the rate of $12.50 an hour. Summertime's coming, we have to make these appointments. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. Showman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
This is memo number 4 for the year. The Recreation and Parks Department requests permission to rebid prepared foods for the Mount Pleasant Nutrition Program as of February 3rd, 2020. The bid documents will be available for distribution from the town clerk's office as of January 15th, 2020. The bid opening will take place on January 21st, 2020 at 11 a.m. in the town clerk's office. Move for approval, please.
Motion by Ms. Smalley,
Second.
second by Mr. Soriano. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
2, public service announcement. The senior flyer for January is available. We will also be getting out the flyer for summer camp and day camp within the next 6 weeks. Look for it in your mail. And just of interest, we did propose a middle school ski program. However, we did not have the participants to go ahead with the program. We will be rethinking that over the summer, and we'll hope to bring it in early fall to prepare for next winter. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Zano.
Good evening. My report is from the Highway Department. I only have one item. Authorization to hire Christopher Schrank as a full-time road maintainer for the Highway Department effective January 21st, 2020. Salary will be per the 2020 Teamsters contract. Move for approval.
Motion by Ms. Zano,
Second.
second by Ms. Smalley. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. I don't believe we have anything from the town attorney this evening.
Nothing this week.
Thank you. Our scheduled meetings, our next work session will be January 21st at 7 p.m. The next town board meeting will be January 28th at 8 p.m. And if there be no further business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Saliano.
Second.
Second.
We got a tie there. I'm going to give it to Ms.
Daniel.
Zano.
Get out of here.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.